join me on an electric sailboat? Next on Now You Know. I'm with Matt Foley right now on a sun-powered electric sailboat. And the name of your company, before we get going here, is sunlightconversions, right, .com. So a lot of people might be asking, okay, well, a sailboat is already like a renewably powered vehicle. Like, what are you talking about, Zach? How could this be an electric sailboat? What does that mean?
So what we do is convert diesel sailboats or gas sailboats to electric propulsion.
Okay, but let me just stop right there. People who aren't into sailing might be like, what are you talking about? Why is there a diesel engine associated with a sailboat? The whole point of a sailboat was to just be under wind power.
Exactly. At one point they were. Okay. Or you had an oar.
Right.
But then diesels came out and they said, well, we'll throw a diesel engine in.
Okay.
But now the technology is there. It's really the batteries. So the electric motor can be just as powerful, if not more powerful, than a diesel.
So just like with cars, we're now learning that EVs are the thing. Yep. You're basically saying, that's the thing for boats as well. You pointed out to me that a lot of times when you go for a sail, if it's not perfect wind conditions, like we pretty much had perfect wind conditions today, but many days, it even starts out great, let's say, and then the wind dies down, and then you're on a sailboat, so now you've got to fire up your diesel engine to continue.
Yeah, which kills the whole mood. It's not fun.
Why?
Sailing is amazing. Motoring with a diesel and a sailboat is not fun.
Why?
It's loud.
Okay. Does it vibrate the ship?
It vibrates. Everything shakes around. The fumes are horrible. It's not a pleasant experience. So it's like the last thing you want to do.
So you were telling me that like when you used to have a diesel-powered boat, the last resort was for you to turn that thing on.
Yeah, I would float around for hours if that's what it took.
We are on a boat that has no diesel engine. So how did we get out of the harbor? How did we do all that?
It's a 8.5 kilowatt motor.
Okay.
10.2 kilowatt hour battery bank, lithium battery bank.
Wait, so you ripped the diesel engine out of this boat and replaced it with an electric motor and batteries and a controller, just like a car, an electric car.
Exactly like an electric car. Saved about half the weight.
Wow, and now you were telling me that as we sail, it's possible to, almost like regenerative braking on an EV, it's possible to get some power back to your system because the propeller is being turned.
Yep, absolutely. So your propeller, when you start sailing, now becomes a generator. Interesting. So it's dependent on speed. The faster you go, the more you make. And it starts to kick in around 5 knots.
Another diesel boat just went by. It's just so disgusting for a brief second as you get those fumes that waft over. Especially when this entire trip has been diesel-free. We're sailing into New York on sunshine, people. Sunshine. Wait, Matt. Who's driving the boat?
We're level 5 autonomy right now.
Oh, okay. You may be wondering who's steering the boat right now. Turns out it's completely autonomous. Oh, there's a swell coming.
Giant wave.
Let's see. This is behind the scenes.
Woohoo!
Rock and roll. Yeah! So what just happened was on a diesel-powered boat, he would have had to fire up the diesel engine, which would have been loud, stinky, whatever. He just fired up the electric motor. I didn't even know he did it, and the boat just immediately, like it is now, like we're just rocking out here in this sailboat. That thing you have power.
Yeah, it just goes. Instant torque.
Wow. That felt like the Tesla of boats there. That was really cool. There was a wave coming onto us from the side, and that's not the way you want a wave to hit you. So Matt turned the boat into the wave, and normally if he didn't have power, if he was just under sail, that would have been a difficult maneuver. But he just used this right here, cranked on some power from the battery, and boom, we just handled that wave like it was nothing. We just cut through it.
And that's it. Now we're back under sail.
if you don't know about this, you need to find out about it. Like if you're not in the sailing world, then you might be just like, oh, okay, that sounds cool. But if you're in the sailing world, you need to talk to someone like Matt about putting this into your boat because it changes the entire game. I think if you're in a sailboat with a diesel engine, you probably just learn to live with it. You probably learn to deal with the shuddering, the noise, and the fumes. Those three things alone just take the fun out of it, right?
Yeah, I mean, once you realize that there's another way, it changes everything. It's a perfect complement to sailing.
Okay, so then the next probably the big question that everyone's thinking is, okay, well that must be wicked expensive. So let's just talk about this for a second. A diesel engine, if you need to replace your diesel engine right now, what are you looking at? If you had to hire someone to just replace the damn thing?
Yeah, so if I was to pay someone to do it for this boat, probably average out about $15,000.
Okay. And so it must cost like 3 or 4 times that to put in this electric thing you're talking about.
You would think, and sometimes you should probably tell people that's what it costs because people don't believe it can be better and cheaper.
So what you're saying is basically for the same price or maybe even less, because things are changing as we speak, like batteries are dropping and so forth. You were telling me that, like, for instance, an electric motor, you're probably looking at the motor itself for like $1,000.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, so the only expense is the batteries.
Is this like Tesla batteries? Are these like, these aren't the, this is more like a Nissan Leaf kind of battery, like prismatic.
Kind of, so they're prismatic. They're like basically like bricks. I think each brick weighs about 11 pounds.
Okay.
So I think total it's about 200 pounds.
200 pounds of battery?
200 pounds of battery.
Okay.
Which isn't a whole lot when you think about it.
Right. Compared to this diesel engine you just ripped out of here, like how much?
So my diesel, it was about almost 300 pounds.
Okay.
My electric motor is 22 pounds. I mean, you could pick it up with one hand.
And you got to take out the gas tank.
Yep, gas tank is gone. So the batteries fit a smaller footprint of where my gas tank was.
Okay, so lighter.
Lighter.
Cheaper.
Cheaper.
No emissions.
0 emissions.
No sound.
No sound.
No vibration.
No vibration.
Basically, that equals better, like in any way you can measure it.
It's always on, instantly. You don't have to think about it. You leave it on all day. It's
oh, well, here's where I got you, Mr. Smarty Pants. How do you charge your boat? There's no superchargers out here. Ha, got him. How's he going to answer that one?
So I actually have no way to power.
See?
I can't even plug in if I wanted to.
I totally got him. That's the hole in his theory.
Solar.
Damn. So you're telling me that right above my head are solar panels that power this whole boat.
I've plugged in twice all summer.
I'm on a solar-powered sailboat.
We could say, I don't know, we're 98% solar power. So right now,
wow,
you're 98% of what's propelling us
we're wind and solar powered. I felt like we're on the cutting edge with the cars. I almost feel like we're more on the cutting edge with boats because I don't think too many people are talking about this. Like when you go on YouTube or you talk to people, that this doesn't come up. Why hasn't it caught on?
I'm not sure.
Why hasn't it caught on?
I think people just don't believe it. They think it's not going to work. They think it's a toy. It's a gimmick. It's silly.
I'm telling you right now, I'm on the boat. It's not a gimmick. We're showing you the parts. This is for reals. But here's the 2 things that amaze me about the powering part. You were mentioning that you can regenerate as you sail. So if you basically what happens is, I guess when you get a certain point with sailing, your boat has just got more energy than it knows what to do with. Like you were saying on this boat, we can't go faster than about 6 or 7 knots. Right. I mean, that's just, so anything above that, the energy is being wasted anyway. That could be going into your batteries. Yep. And then the second part is you're usually sailing on a nice day when the sun's out. And so that is powering your batteries. Like, it just makes sense.
Where it really shines is motor sailing. So let's say you're out and it's not quite windy enough, which is usually the case. Yep. So let's say you're doing 2 knots, which is no fun. For maybe 500 watts, I could bring this up to 4 knots.
Wow.
So you could fill out your sails. So now you're actually creating your own wind.
Wow.
So you're going twice as fast as you would have been otherwise for just a tiny bit of power.
When you're so close to the Freedom Tower that you can't zoom out enough to get it in the shot. Okay, so if we look onto the New Jersey side of the river, we can see that big, ugly structure there. That is a vent. And if we look over on the New York side, we see a similar, pretty much identical structure. You may be wondering what that is. That is the vent system for the Holland Tunnel, which is running beneath us. Matt, you just mentioned something to me. You were mentioning that there's a service interval on motors, on engines. Well, what is it?
Typically, to change the motor oil at least, it's 50 hours.
Okay, so wait, so every 50 hours you have to do what?
You're supposed to change oil on your diesel engine.
Wait, every 50 hours that you run it, you have to take all that oil, dump it out, put in fresh oil, new filter, all that. Wow, how fast? I mean, so 50 hours, that doesn't sound like a lot of runtime.
No, not at all, especially if you're running your generator, you know, for whatever you need. That goes pretty quick. We did that in one trip a couple years ago.
Wow. So how often do you have to change the oil on your electric system here on the boat?
I'll have to read the manual, but I don't think very often.
That was a ride of a lifetime. I can't believe what we just did. We just sailed on an electric sailboat up into New York Harbor. Can you believe it? That was fantastic. Thank you so much to our host, Matt, and sunlightconversions.com. What an amazing ride. Thanks so much for watching Now You Know. We work hard to bring you videos about things that we think you'll find useful, but we need to know from you what you want to see, so leave your comments below. Also, don't forget to go over to our Patreon page, where for as little as $1 a month, you can watch our Patreon bonus story every week on Tesla Time News. Thanks again. We'll see you soon.